Karen, line 3. We've got 5 minutes to air.
Okay. Sheehan, what? Can you actually do that? Okay. John Eller, please. Karen Sheehan. John, is it true you're hiring your own lawyers on the Ramsey case? What does it matter who told me? Is it true? Is that a yes-no comment or a no-no comment?
The public knows nothing but the police version. And in the police version, we did it. We have to counter that.
John, you've already run some ads.
So all they did was offer a reward. This one gives a profile of what the killer might be like. Now, we can get solid tips from a profile.
What if nobody comes forward?
Then I lose a few dollars.
No. If nobody comes forward, then you give the police and Hunter the best excuse they need to summon a grand jury, and we don't want that. If you or Patsy are called before a grand jury, there's nobody to defend you. Your lawyers are not allowed to cross-examine any witnesses. If they ask you a question that you don't want to answer, you have to take the fifth. You do not need that, John.
I don't care. I'm running the ads.
Hi, Alex. Thanks. I really appreciate this.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Karen. Good morning, fellas. All right. Let's get started.
Okay. Mr. Hunter, can you confirm that the detectives in the JonBenet killing are hiring their own lawyers to determine whether there's a prosecutable case?
I'm not sure I'd put it exactly that way. They've hired lawyers to advise them.
Is that normally done?
That's not customary, but then everything about this case is unusual. Got what you need?
Really appreciate it, Alex. Thanks.
An open letter from John and Patsy Ramsey.
Not only are John and Patsy Ramsey placing full-page advertisements in Boulder's newspaper, they're distributing thousands of flyers which are being placed in mailboxes throughout the neighborhood where they lived. With me today is Greg McRary, a former FBI profiler and now a leading consultant to investigators throughout the country. Mr. McRary, are you saying that the Ramsey's ad campaign is useless?
No, but there are some problems with it. It's far too general. The profile they've released would fit about a quarter of the people in Boulder. When you release a public ad campaign, you need to provide specifics so that the average citizen has something to look for.
Expect Ramsey to describe himself?
That's part of the problem as well.
As a reporter for the Daily Camera, you understand that this is off the record. You can't disclose that this conversation ever occurred, and you can't use notes or use a tape. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good, okay. You can ask about anything except the 48 hours before and the 48 hours after JonBenet's death.
I understand, but within these guidelines, I'm on my own, right?
Agreed.
Mr. Ramsey.
Hi.
Terry Sparrow. Hi.
Come in.
I was really kind of boring as a kid. I didn't much like sports, wasn't into drugs, didn't really drink. I guess I just liked solving problems and making money. I still do.
Do you mind if I ask a question or two about your sex life?
Oh, Mr. Sparrow. I feel as if I've been picked as clean as a turkey after Thanksgiving. I've been feeling pretty naked for a long time, so you might as well ask whatever you want.
I appreciate that. And I will ask an offbeat question. Are you well endowed?
I'm fine. But you certainly couldn't call me King Kong.
Do you enjoy anything different? Anything that censorious people might characterize as kinky?
I'm not that creative. I certainly wouldn't call myself wild sexually. Pretty conventional, actually.
Did JonBenet ever make you angry? I mean, really piss you off?
Of course. She was a little girl. and she could get pretty bratty at times.
What would you do?
What a parent usually does. Put her in a timeout and explain to her why she shouldn't do what she just did.
You ever hit her?
Never.
You ever hit any of your kids? You know, a little tough love.
That is a concept I don't understand. Hitting a child out of love.
Do you believe in God?
I do.
Do you think God knows everything?
Yes.
Do you think God would know if somebody had done something wrong and not admitted it?
God would know. Yes. God would know.
If you want to believe the deed was committed by an outside intruder, then you have to recognize that this criminal chose some hour late in the evening of Christmas Day to enter the house, a time when the parents were sure to be home, and which multiplies his chance of capture.
What do we see? Somebody who kills a child, but cares enough about her to place her on her own blanket?
Which criminals do not do.
Isn't garroting a style of killing usually associated with criminals?
Yes, it is.
Has your unit ever come across a case in which a parent garroted a child?
No.
Keep in mind, you can't judge the behavior of people who've been through a traumatic loss by an act of violence they've committed themselves. We've seen every response under the sun.
Well, where are we then?
You have no hard evidence that an intruder entered the house.
Are you saying the Ramseys killed their daughter?
I'm saying that the child's dog just happened to be at a neighbor's house that evening. Who but somebody close to the family would know that?
What about the open basement window? Even more important, what about the missing roll of duct tape? The rest of the cord? Only an intruder would have removed those items for fear of being identified through them.
We said no hard evidence.
I've got a couple of questions for you, sir. Do you have any hard evidence that one of the Ramseys killed their child? And if so, which one?
Our conclusion is that as of today, there isn't enough evidence to charge anyone.
There are things we believe we still need to do.
Says who? The DA's office?
Says the FBI and our lawyers.
Well, what's going on? I thought you were supposed to help us.
Well, you hired us to determine if you had a prosecutable case. Now, as a lawyer, I'd like to know if the same person who hit that child on the head strangled her. Frankly, I don't even know which action came first.
All right. All right, look, first thing. We need to look over the videotapes we made on the murder date of all the cars parked around the Ramsey house that night. We need to check out every one of those owners. Next, we got to start interviewing all the registered sex offenders in our files who don't have ironclad alibis for Christmas night. Plus, their family, their friends, their lovers, their bookies, their bartenders, their drug dealers, their parole officers, anybody that might give us a usable tip. We need to re-interview Fleet White. And finally, we need to re-interview the Ramseys themselves.
And how are we supposed to manage this? Wait till Hofstrom sets it up?
If that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do.
Mr. White, did you actually see Mr. Ramsey pull the tape off her mouth, or was it already in his hand?
I saw him pull it off. No, wait. Maybe he already had it in his hand, loose.
Did you see him untie the cord?
It happened so fast. It was like watching a speeded up film. I'm sorry, I can't separate the movement for you.
Was she lying on a blanket, or was she covered with the blanket?
Yes, a white blanket. Maybe covered. I already told you all this. Why are we going over all this again for the 17th time? Why haven't you arrested somebody?
We are just trying to confirm, Mr. White.
Treating me and my wife as suspects and refusing to exonerate us for months on end. And then when you finally say we're not suspects, why couldn't you just say that we were cleared? Why did you have to hedge like that? Do you honestly believe that I killed my best friend's kid?
I promise you, we wanted to clear you.
Well, then why didn't you?
We weren't responsible for the wording of the release.
What do you mean, wording? Hunter?
Look, Alex Hunter thinks that Patsy Ramsey did it too. He just doesn't think that Eller can deliver the goods.
Has he given up on the idea of getting rid of Eller?
No way. He wants him gone now more than ever. Actually, he's asked me to help.
You? How?
He wants me to look into some rumors, and if the rumors are true,